This is an introduction to the Virtual Server Provisioning Request Process, a template process by ITS. I am Josh Bernson, Team Lead of the ITS Workflow Team. Virtual Server Provisioning is a process of requesting a virtual server and having it automatically built and, if necessary, automatically decommissioned. This is a template process. What that means is it's a starting point for a customer to build a project that has most of the core functionality complete, but has opportunities for customization to be performed on things like the request approval process, as well as the information collected and some of the automation steps in the background. We build template projects because many customers share similar processes, but there are specific differences from customer to customer. For example, how a manager is associated to a user, what level of approval is required, and some of the specific information collected. Let's begin. The first step in this process is a request form, a web form project that can be called either from within the Process Manager portal or by calling a URL directly. When the form opens, the requester is automatically populated with the logged in user, although an alternate user can be selected. Next, we need to select a manager. For my example, I'm going to select my same user as the manager to make the demo easier, although in a production environment this would usually be disallowed. This is one piece of the process that would likely be changed from environment to environment. In this case, the manager can be populated from the Process Manager database or from Active Directory or automatically populated. Below that, we list all of the approvals that are going to be required. The manager approval is based off of the manager we've selected above. The data center approval and CIO approval are both groups in the Process Manager database. All three of these can be enabled or disabled with settings in the project. So if your environment doesn't use a CIO approval, you can turn that off. Once we've provided the information about the requester, now we need to provide the information about the server. We first give the server a name. Then we select the number of CPUs requested, the speed of those CPUs, and the amount of memory. The next information is hard drive. We have to provide at least one hard drive size, although we can provide multiple if we need a second hard drive. Next is network information. Leaving this blank, we'll default to DHCP, but if we know we have a specific IP address for the machine, we can provide it here. Next, we need to provide information about the admins who will be set up on the server. If we don't provide any information here at all, then only the default admin will be built, and we may not have access to the machine. So we need to select at least one user to be admin. Once the machine is built, the process will communicate back to us the user ID that has been given admin rights. In this case, if we pull up this form, we will see that our user is automatically selected. That can save time if you're requesting a machine for yourself, but you could also search for any other user in the database. And you can select multiple users. The final information we need on this form is the number of days needed. If left blank, this machine will be left up indefinitely or until decommissioned manually. But if we want it to be automatically decommissioned, we can specify a time, and it will tell us what date the decommission would take place. Now, the system does not automatically decommission a machine without first asking the owner if that should happen or not. So it actually sends a notification. You'll see that in this message. A notification we sent at that time, and then once that notification is responded to, the machine can be decommissioned. This is another area of customization. Instead of notifying the user and waiting for their response, there could be a check for a certain amount of time. If the response has not been answered in 30 days or even a couple of hours, the machine could be decommissioned, or a certain number of emails could be sent before the machine is automatically decommissioned. On the next page, we can review the information and click Submit. With the request being submitted in the background, a ticket is going to be generated, a custom ticket for this process, and the first of our assignees will be notified that they need to approve it. In our case, we assigned manager, data center approval, and CIO approval, so we'll actually have 3 steps in the approval. We can see here the name of the ticket in case we need to look it up later. You'll see a task has been assigned to me. That's because I am the manager, and in fact, as we go through this demo, this user is in all 3 of those roles. Again, just to make the demo a little bit easier, in a production environment you would usually have different users in each of those roles. going to go over to the Workflow tab. And on the Workflow tab, I'll be able to see all of the tasks assigned to me. And that way I can go and work the task, and you can see the approval form. We can see ticket 26 here. And when we open that up, we see the process view page. We see some basic history, including the task that's currently assigned and the status that the ticket is in, and we can work that ticket. The manager has received information about the request, the requester's email, their own email, information about the disk space available on that server, and all of their request details. They can also see what step the process is at. For example, in this process we're at a manager approval, and we know that we have 2 more approval steps to go. I can either approve or deny the request. Either way, I'm given the opportunity to put in comments. On a denial, the comments are required. Once this approval is done, it goes on to the next step of approval. To save time, I'm simply going to refresh the page. Since all the approvals are assigned to the same user, I'll see them just pop up here. Each of the 3 levels of approval provide the same information. The difference is who has to approve it. And all of them offer the opportunity to provide comments. This is the last step of approval. Again, the same information, but this time we are at the CIO approval step. Once the 3rd step is approved, or if you've trimmed it down and only require manager approval, once that's complete, the process will send its information over to vCenter for the machines to be built. It can take a minute or 2 for vCenter to build the machine before powering it on, so we'll skip ahead. Now the machine has been built, and shortly it'll be powered on. We can take a look at the summary to see the information that we provided about the machine, the number of CPUs, the memory, and the hard drive space. From this point, the process will call a template of our choice, build the machine based on that template, and then provide the additional information to the machine, for example, setting its IP address and adding admins. When all of that is complete, we can go back up to the ticket and we can see the details in the ticket. This task is assigned back to the original requester and gives them an opportunity to know that everything has been completed and what information has been provided to them. When everything is done and they've validated the machine, they can click Request Complete, which will close the ticket. In the background, a monitor project is watching all of the VMware requests that had end dates, and when those occur, it sends notification to the users to indicate that their machine will be decommissioned and asking for their approval. Again, that's a part of the process that can be customized to send multiple emails or even decommission automatically without asking. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in seeing a demo of this process, please contact us at ITS. Thank you.